How's it going today, guys? Rachel and Logan here. We're going to talk about cutting versus losing weight and the benefits of cutting while working out instead of just changing your diet, losing weight like most people do. And we're going to tell you what happens when you cut versus when you lose weight.
And this is one of the informative videos that I talked about a while ago that I would be posting, and we're going to do another one later on. But in this video, we're going to talk about cutting.
So the first thing that you guys need to think about is most people, when they think about getting fit or losing weight, they just go crazy. Like, they start running and they change their diet completely around, and they're not too big onto working out because, let's all face it, that's the part that most people struggle with because it hurts. I mean, it's fun after you get used to it, but when you first start doing it, it whoops your ass, you're really sore, and you're like, I don't know if I ever want to go back to the gym. I remember my first time. So if you just run all the time and cut your calories real low, you're going to lose muscle along with the fat that you lose. And by the time you cut completely down and you get to where you want to get, and you get to the pant size or shirt size, dress size, whatever you're trying to get to, you'll look down at yourself and you'll realize, wow, I'm really skinny, but I have no muscles. And then you'll be like, wow, I should have done this completely differently. I should have went about it the other way. If you work out while you're losing weight, you'll keep your muscle tone that you already have. And for the people who are really big already, you lose your fat and not your muscle, you look huge. And that's probably the biggest mistake and the thing that I regret when I started, because I went crazy running like 6 miles a day, really low calories, and it screwed me up. So,
And you still lifted, but you were overdoing cardio so much that it still deteriorated your muscles.
So the thing is, just make sure you're lifting and make sure you're doing it. Like, to first start out, go about 3 times a week, and you need the extra days to recover. But as it becomes easy and you can start doing your same weight easier and everything, start bumping it up. Do 4 or 5 days a week. Just stay consistent. That's the number one thing with your diet and your exercise and everything. Stay completely consistent. Yeah, you can cheat once in a while, but don't plan your cheat days or your cheat meals out. If it happens, it happens, and get back on track. And the biggest thing about diet is track your macros. Don't just think, this says light, it's good for me, I can eat it, or this says sugar free, I can eat as much as I want. It's not going to help anything.
And for tracking your macros, like he was saying, a lot of people just think, I'm going to eat this light everything, diet everything, this lean cuisine, this, that. But you need to kind of determine if you want to do high carb and low fat, or vice versa. So you can set your macros. I'm going to do this many grams of fat, this many grams of carbs, this many grams of protein every day, and stay consistent on that diet. And it's easy to track macros. People think that it's kind of annoying, but everything you buy has macros on the back. And if you're buying like fresh fruit, all you have to do is type it into your FitnessPal or Google, whatever you use to track macros, and all of that's there for you. So the biggest thing is staying on track with your macros and not just saying, oh, I'm going to have extra carbs today or extra fat. It's not a big deal, and then that starts happening a lot more often. And that's a huge part of cutting is your diet. You have to eat clean and stay consistent on it, because like they say, losing weight, getting abs, all of that is 80% eating, 20% working out. So it's very important that you stay on your diet, but you can incorporate a lot of foods that are still good, still taste good, that you think you might not have been able to.
A really good thing about tracking your macros that a lot of people don't understand, I wouldn't advise it for people who are just starting to get on a structured diet, because it makes it pretty easy to get in bad habits. But when you first start counting, the only three things that you really need to worry about other than vitamins are carbs, fats, and proteins. Keep in mind that carbs and proteins both have 4 calories per 1 gram, and fats have 9 calories per 1 gram. That's why typically people choose a low-fat diet, because they can have more food throughout the day when they're on their structured diet. But you don't have to do it that way. You allot how many calories you're going to have per day, and when you're losing weight, you want to have about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight for men, and for women I would say about half. So if you're a male and you're 200 pounds, you want to have 200 grams of protein per day. So basically you do your 200 times 4, and that gives you your amount of protein that you're going to have. And then nobody should have more than about 20 to 50 grams of fat a day. I would say that's a pretty good amount. I get in about 25, 30. So once you get your fat and your protein to where you want it to be, then you just pick up the rest of the calories that you have available for your day with your carbs. You don't have to eat just chicken and rice and vegetables if you're trying to cut or lose weight, gain weight, whatever you're trying to do. If you can stay within your carbs, fats, and proteins, technically you can eat whatever you want. If you want to have a hamburger with some French fries, make them at home. Don't use oil on your fries. You know, cut up your own potatoes, buy lean beef, and use a whole grain, light bread or bun, and you can fit that into your macros, and you can eat the foods that you want to eat. Yes, you're not going to be able to have the volume of food that you would if you ate green beans, chicken, and rice, but you're still going to be able to get some of those foods that you really want to eat and you think they're out of the question. I wouldn't advise doing that all the time, because like I said, you just start having them all the time. Oh, I'll use a little bit of oil, and then you just start slipping and getting into bad habits again, and it's very, very easy to do.
Usually I find that if you're a person who eats like fast food and all that crap all the time, then when you actually eat like real fresh food, it tastes good. And after a while, I'm the type of person who gets tired of foods that don't taste delicious all the time. So that's the one thing that I struggle with, but I try to change it up and keep the same amount of macros and just do something different. So I might change the foods that I'm eating sometimes, but I keep it in the same macros, because after you eat certain stuff for a long time, it does kind of get, it doesn't taste good anymore.
If you're capable of eating the same meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, that's how I do it, just because I choose to not waste my time per se with counting my macros and doing all the math and entering it in, and I just pick something that I like to have and I just have it. The same breakfast, same lunch, same dinner, same snacks, so I know what my calories are for the day. That works out for me really well, so I don't have to waste time doing that, and I know exactly what I'm allowed to eat, how much I eat. And another thing about counting your macros, don't just guess on your serving sizes. You look on the back and it says for 1 serving of chicken, it has about 20 to 26 grams of protein and 2 to 5 grams of fat for whatever chicken breast you're having. That's for 4 ounces. 4 ounces of chicken is not a whole lot, so don't just pull out a whole chicken breast, cook it up and everything, and then say, okay, this is 1 serving because it was 1 chicken breast. Most of the time you're having about 1.5 to 2, so I would suggest getting a food scale. I bought a food scale off Amazon. It was like 15 bucks. Works really well. Weigh out all my food and definitely keeps your macros on point.
And some things, it's easier, like if you just have 1 cup of yogurt, you know you're having 1 serving. But as far as if you're eating things like we eat the rice pop chips, the different flavors, those type of things, you need to make sure are they in ounces or chips?
Grams. Don't count the number of chips or whatever you're having. If it says about 13 or about whatever it says, don't just go by that number. It's better to weigh it out because everything's not the same size. And yeah, if you're off a little on your macros here or there, it's not a huge deal. But once you get into the habits and you make really good habits of just weighing everything and getting everything perfect, you'll start seeing results. And the thing that you need to focus on is just because it says that the average diet for a male is 2,000 or 2,500 calories, you may be way over that or you may be way under that. Just start out with just the general 2,500 calories and stay consistent on it for about 2 weeks and track your weight every morning right when you get out of bed. Don't drink any water. Don't just get up, go to the bathroom, make sure you don't have any clothes on, weigh yourself, and track that every morning. Don't get discouraged if it goes up or if it goes down. What you're trying to do is trying to keep a steady weight. So adjust your calories once a week until you can maintain a steady weight. And once you get that steady weight, you know that's your maintenance calories. So then if you want to lose weight or get lean, you just subtract about 500 calories from that, and then you just go about on your way. 12 to 16 weeks later, you'll be looking really good. And if you want to bulk, you just add 200 to 300 on top of your maintenance. When you bulk, you typically have a little less protein and higher carbs, and that will work out for you. The thing you want to remember is working out and trying to make yourself look better as far as gaining muscle or getting lean is not something that's going to happen overnight. You're not going to see it. One day you'll just look at yourself and you'll be like, whoa. So don't get discouraged, and as long as you're trying as hard as you can and you're putting forth the effort and you're going home sore every night, you know you're doing the right thing.
And when you're cutting, make sure that you're keeping that high protein, because protein is very important when you're cutting because it aids in not losing your muscles, so helps you maintain muscle mass. So make sure that is why protein is always very important. You always hear that, protein shakes, all that, lots of meat, because you don't want to lose your muscles while you're cutting.
Alright, well, it was nice talking to you guys today. I'm going to finish up this protein shake and we are going to be off to the gym doing chest and triceps. We might give you a little bit of footage of that, and if not, I'll see you next time. I elbowed you. Here.
And our next video is going to be how to gain muscle while bulking.
You're all red everywhere. You're scratchy.
I'm not scratching. I'm feeling my hair.
Well, quit doing this. Just leave yourself alone for this.
Okay. And that's of course if you're cutting. But yeah, you can.
And good.
Hopefully that was recording the whole time.
Oh my gosh, if that isn't still recording. Okay, good. Yeah.